Namaste, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this lesson, you are going to learn the importance of Venus in relationships. We're going to explore how Venus will manifest differently in the 12 zodiac signs. We're going to explore the importance of the house that Venus is placed in, and we're also going to explore what happens if Venus conjoins other planets and how they will alter our experience of relationships. If we have time at the end, we will also explore Jupiter and the moon. This is the third step in learning how to identify relationship karma in a horoscope. If Venus is situated in Aries, Venus will manifest with much more passion and desire. Aries is a fiery sign, ruled by the fiery planet Mars. Venus is a watery planet. Putting water and fire together, it's like a boiling kettle. It is like steam coming out, like a sauna. So also, Venus in Aries will manifest as a person who has very strong sexual desire and urges, a person who will be a little bit impatient about relationships, who will quickly fall in and out of love as well, a person who experiences their individuality through relationships, a person who needs a lot of independence in relationships and will have a very strong will. Because it is a masculine sign, if Venus is placed in Aries, a person is ready to go out of their way into the lives of other people to initiate relationships. Venus in Aries makes a person ready to initiate relationships. They have the fire that is necessary. Relationships also often will be quite transformative and a little bit erratic. A lesson to learn if Venus is in Aries is to curb our desire, to curb our passion. Mars in his best form, exalted Mars in Capricorn, Mars in his best form, he can control his senses. Venus in her best form, she's exemplified by Parshuram. Parshuram is one of the Dasha avatars of Vishnu. He is the warrior who has learned to control his senses. So that becomes really important for Venus and Aries. Venus and Aries people, they need partners who can reciprocate their passion, who can reciprocate their fire. So they do well with partners who are strong, who are masculine, who might have some dominant placements in Aries or dominant planets here. That will be very helpful for them. If Venus is placed in Taurus, we have a very different picture. Venus is in her own sign in Taurus. Taurus is an earthy sign. So Venus in Taurus makes excellent lovers, is excellent placement for relationships. It is one of the best signs for Venus. Venus in Taurus, because this earth element, it is a fixed sign. Taurus is extremely stubborn, so also Venus and Taurus can become stubbornly in love, stubbornly fixed on just loving one partner, one person, which is wonderful, right? Which is fantastic. So Venus does very well here. Venus in Taurus means a person has a lot to give in the realm of romance. Taurus ascendants, they're great nourishers in many realms. Venus and Taurus persons, they're great nourishers in the realm of relationships. So much love and care to give. They also need partners who have fine tastes, who are beautiful, who are charismatic, etc. Persons with Venus and Taurus, they have a liking for the finer things. So we can easily win their heart in romance by taking them out for nice foods, by giving them gifts and positive sensory experiences. This is the love language for people with Venus and Taurus. While it is a little bit more touch for Venus in Aries, physicality becomes a bit more important for people who have Venus in Aries. If Venus is in Gemini, then communication becomes extremely important in relationships. Gemini is an air sign. It is a dual sign. Air signs have a little bit more movement, so Venus in Gemini can sometimes give multiple relationships simultaneously, which can create problems. Venus in Gemini, besides that, it is excellent for meeting partners that are charming, that are eventually a little bit younger, that have a great sense of humor. We really would aspire to have a partner in our life if we have Venus in Gemini who has all these good qualities of Mercury, who has all these good qualities of Gemini. If Venus is in Gemini also, our love language, it could be more related to words and to speech, to fine speech, to receiving compliments about ourselves. Right? If your partner has Venus in Gemini, make them laugh. Tell them how beautiful they are. Tell them a joke that they have never heard before and then tell it again. If Venus is in Cancer, then a person channels their romantic desires directly through their heart, through their mind, through their emotions. So for them, their emotions become so important. Cancer is a watery sign. Venus is a watery planet. We have so much water that's soaking and dripping, right? It's so oily and juicy. So Venus in Cancer, those people, they love deeply. Similar to Venus in Aries, they also fall in love so quickly. Venus in Aries, they fall in love, it's a little bit because of passion. While Venus in Cancer, they fall in love because they believe in love. They believe that the right person is out there, and one day, despite all the things that happen at the end, love will win, love will reign supreme. That is Venus in Cancer. It's a beautiful combination. It is a little bit like Annapurna yoga. Annapurna, she is the mother, she's the goddess, she's the goddess of nourishment, she's the goddess who feeds her children. And my teacher also called this combination the hopeless romantic combination. So yeah, but there's nothing hopeless about it. There's nothing hopeless about it. Venus and Moon, we just want to be careful. We don't want to, you know, Venus and Cancer, these people, they love falling in love. They love falling in love, and they fall in love so easily. So their lesson they have to learn is to not to jump the gun, right? Not to jump the gun, and to take it patiently and with grace. If Venus is placed in Leo, we are attracted to partners who are powerful, who are like the king or like a lion. If Venus is in Leo, it's very important, it is very helpful if our partner has position and power, if he has strong qualities. Also, Venus in Leo means that we strongly identify with our partners and that the relationships are for us a vehicle of self-realization. It can also indicate that we take pride in our partners. And if for any reason our partner does not fit into this category, if we don't feel like we have anything to be proud of in our partner, or if our partner cannot live up to our high Leo ideals, then that can become a little bit problematic for people who have Venus in Leo. Similar to Leo ascendants. Leo ascendants, sometimes in the second half of their life, they can become a little bit depressed, because Leo ascendants, they have this idea that I am here for something big. From young age, I'm here to shine. Everything, soon people will find out who I am, and then everything will rotate around me. So they often have high aspirations in early life, but if they cannot live up to this, and if the rest of the horoscope does not agree with this, with the story, then in the second half of life they can become a little bit depressed. So in the same way also, people with Venus and Leo, they are attracted to partners that are powerful. They need partners who are powerful. And if they don't find this person, then they can get a little bit frustrated later in life. So what is the lesson to learn for people with Venus and Leo? Obviously, first they have to learn humility. They have to understand, they have to do the reality check. Who am I? Does my ideal partner, my picture of the ideal picture match up with who I am and what I have to offer? So they need a little bit of humility with themselves, and they need some compassion with their partner. If Venus is in Virgo, Virgo is the sign of debilitation of Venus, and it is nothing to worry about. Venus in Virgo can do exceptionally well. Venus in Virgo can at least give one really good relationship. If Venus is in Virgo, we channel our loving feelings through our intellect. So here, Venus in Virgo, love becomes a little bit conditional. Love is something that we put into a box, and we have like a fine print attached to it. It's like a contract with a fine print attached to it. That is fine. We just need a person who can tick that box. We need a partner who's like Virgo, who's very intelligent, who is maybe a bit of a nerd, who is maybe not that spontaneous. A partner with whom we can go for a dinner date, and as we are eating dinner together, he will tell us how much money we saved by picking this item rather than the other. That is Venus and Virgo. So Venus and Virgo is a beautiful combination. However, we want to ensure that we can find a person who can match that. And we want to be self-aware enough that we don't love just through our heart. It's not just through our feelings and spontaneity. No, it's a smart and very intellectual decision. Similar to Venus and Gemini, we need partners who can make us love. Mercury, he likes to speak in puns, he likes to solve riddles, he likes to create riddles. So also with Venus and Virgo, we need a person like that. Venus and Virgo can also give an attraction to partners who are younger than us, or at least younger in spirit. Venus in Libra is in her own sign. This is another excellent placement for Venus. Venus in Libra gives very balanced and harmonious relationships. Venus is in Libra. We like partners who are diplomatic, partners who have a fine taste. Will be attracted to partners who are idealistic, maybe artists, maybe social reformers, politicians. Nice sales people, Venus and Libra, right? People who wear suits can be as well. Libra is a prime indicator for business. We understand in our heart that a relationship is also a business deal. That a relationship is a contract. And we understand there's a clause attached to it. And we are happy to give and take. We are happy to do our part, and we expect our partner to do the same. Which is helpful, that is wonderful. Venus in Libra is a wonderful combination in this regard. If Venus is in Scorpio, then again, Venus in Scorpio will create a lot of passion. Venus in Scorpio, these are people who like to break the rules in relationships. They are ready to explore topics that are otherwise taboo. They are interested in different types of relationships and different types of practices. If Venus is in Scorpio, a person will really benefit from having a partner who is a quote-unquote spiritual person, a person who's a transcendentalist, because we want to experience this higher frequency of Scorpio. We don't want to experience the lower frequency of Scorpio, which is a hole full of water that has become poisonous. We don't want to fall in that pit, right? But we want to experience the higher frequency of Scorpio, which is sacred places, caves where yogis are meditating. We want to experience that. We want to enter the cave of the yogi. We don't want to fall into that pit full of poison. Partners with Venus in Scorpio, similar to Aries, they're a little bit impatient, they're highly reactive, and often if their unlimited desires are not fulfilled, then they will sting. So we have to keep an eye on them. That is very important if Venus is situated in Scorpio. The different degrees within a sign are all different. Not every degree within Scorpio is the same. We usually divide every sign first into 3 pieces, into the Drikanas, and we could speak about that, or we could divide it according to the nakshatras. For example, the last 13 degrees and 20 minutes of Scorpio are connected to Jyeshta nakshatra, which is connected to Indra, who is Indra in India. He's similar to Zeus in Greek mythology. He's the god of heaven who's holding a thunderbolt. So Venus is in the last 13 degrees and 20 minutes of Scorpio. Venus is in Jyeshta. Then again, we are attracted to partners who are like Indra, who are powerful, who are strong. And what is the problem of Indra? Indra, he always has problems with women. So if a woman has a horoscope and Venus is in the last part of Scorpio, then she will be attracted to men who are like Indra, who are these macho men who think that they're the rulers of heaven and have, because of their power and because of their position and because of false pride too, and because of excessive lust, face numerous encounters with women that cause them to lose, that hurt them, which will further further increase this whole dynamic of the wounded child. So if you, as a man or a woman, have Venus in Scorpio, if you have Venus in the last 13 degrees and 20 minutes, keep an eye out for this. Be mindful with your choices. Don't rush in where angels don't go in. Right? In particular, the last 3 degrees and 20 minutes of Scorpio, Venus is placed in the last 3 degrees and 20 minutes of Scorpio. That can be a little bit challenging. We say that Venus is Gandanta here, and ideally we would recommend some remedial measures for relationships for Venus, because that can indicate some hiccups. If Venus is in Sagittarius, we are attracted to partners who are like the guru, who are teachers, who are knowledgeable, who have great wisdom to share, and who can give advice to others. If Venus is placed in Sagittarius, Dharma and righteousness will become extremely important to us. If your partner has Venus in Sagittarius, please never lie to your partner. Always be honest. And as much as possible, try to fulfill your dharma, try to fulfill your duties, be righteous, be virtuous and ethical. Because this is very important for people who have Venus in Sagittarius. If we are together in a relationship with a person who has Venus in Sagittarius, we really want to embody dharma as much as we can. We want to follow the teachers, we want to follow our gurus, and we want to become a guru, we want to become a teacher. That will be so pleasing to them. If we have Venus in Sagittarius ourselves, we'd like to seek out dharma in relationships. So we should really ensure that we meet a person in our life, that we commit to a person in our life who can uphold these very high ethical standards that we put in our partners. And of course, since we expect them to be truthful to us, generally people with Venus in Sagittarius also are very truthful to their partners. The first 13 degrees and 20 minutes of Sagittarius, they're connected to Mula Nakshatra. Mula is connected to Nritti. Nritti, she's one of the forms of Kali, we can say. She's an expansion of Kali. She's the goddess of death. And she's often symbolized by a naked woman on a battlefield, destroying her enemies. So in particular, women have Venus in the first 13 degrees of Sagittarius. They can be very difficult to tame. And they might not fall into this standard category, the stereotypical category of a submissive woman, which anyways is falling apart in our modern culture. We will have a different series of Venus in all the different nakshatras and all the different paras of the nakshatras, etc. Venus in Capricorn is a beautiful combination. If Venus is in Capricorn, a person will be very dutiful. In relationships, they will think that actions speak louder than words. So their love language is service. Venus in Capricorn loves service. They love to serve their partner, and they also expect their partners to show their love through their actions, through their service. They might not be the most spontaneous in relationships. They don't feel as deeply like Venus in Cancer, but they make great partners. They're dutiful, action-orientated. They like to give gifts. They can be highly attentive. And relationships might take a little bit longer as well, because it's ruled by Saturn. It is Capricorn. They might be attracted to older partners. They might like things that are older. They might like museums. Venus and Saturn, we speak about her later, but Venus and Saturn, these people, they love antiquity. They love ancient artifacts and ancient beauty, etc. If Venus is in Aquarius, a person has a very different approach to relationships. They be really innovative. A bit like Venus and Scorpio, they like to do taboo things. They like to break the rules. They like to try something else. They're attracted to partners who are like Aquarius, who are expressive, rebels, pioneers, people who are different. Venus and Aquarius, these people also, they like to dress up. They like to go the extra mile in being fancy. Often they're attracted to things that are a little bit excessive colors, excessive makeup, excessive lip gloss, etc. Venus in Aquarius can be one of the more challenging placements, since all planets in Aquarius and Scorpio tend to take a little bit more time to mature. And there might be multiple lessons to learn about relationships, particularly Venus in Aquarius. We want to avoid excessiveness. We want to avoid obsessions with our partner or with certain practices in relationships. We need a partner who is who has some exotic element about him. Maybe he's a foreigner. Venus and Aquarius, you're often attracted to foreign partners. And if he is of our own culture, he needs to have a foreign element. Aquarius is co-lorded by Rahu. Rahu has this entire serpent energy. So if our partner practices Kundalini yoga, or if he is a snake charmer, that would be very beautiful. And lastly, we have Venus in Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces. And if Venus is in Pisces, the person actually does not want relationships anymore. Who would have thought? Venus in Pisces, this person, he is not satisfied by mundane love. Because now love, it has become so big, it is so unlimited, it is in the realm of Pisces, it is in the realm of spirituality, of divinity, of God, cosmos. So often, if Venus is in Pisces, a person is not satisfied with relationships. Because this person does not want to just love another person, but this person wants to love the entirety of creation. This person actually seeks union with divinity. And we'll often see in the horoscopes of people of Venus and Pisces, they might have many relationships, but it can be harder for them to settle down. So they have to learn humility. They have to understand human imperfections. And they need a spiritual partner. Venus and Pisces, we need a partner who can reciprocate this quest for divine love. And if we can share this journey, then this can be a very, very beautiful placement. But if we are just trying to satisfy our senses, and tell me one thing, if Venus is in Pisces, there will be abundant opportunities to satisfy our senses. Since Venus is falling in love, Venus is dating, so now your dating has become exalted. So many opportunities. Venus is in Pisces, and especially if she also is in Kendra, my friend, let me tell you, this person will have sex appeal. This person will be magnetic. Many opportunities. But Venus is only falling in love. Remember, Jupiter is everything that comes after that. So we would really want Jupiter to be strong as well. And then we want to have a shared theme of inspiration to really hold this relationship together. If Venus is in Pisces, often a person also likes to give. They like to love, and they have love for everyone. Therefore, they're great givers. They know how to please people. The sign placement of Venus told us how we express our love. The house placement of Venus will tell us which area of our life will be the most affected by our love. So if Venus is placed in the ascendant, this is a very excellent placement. Venus in the ascendant will make a person beautiful, will make a person attractive, will endow a person with the good qualities of Venus if placed in the sign of a friend, own sign, or exalted. And it will tell us that this person thinks a lot about love, that love is a big part of their personality. Any planet in the ascendant, it is on our head. It influences our persona, our interests. So Venus in the ascendant, this person is a true lover. For this person, relationships are very important. It's an excellent placement. Venus gains a lot of strength by being in the ascendant. If Venus is placed in the second house, then relationships have a very communal aspect. Community becomes very important in our relationships. Maybe we meet our spouse through our neighbors, through our community. And once we are in the relationship as well, it is not just about the two of us, but other people are also very important. Financial stability also becomes very important, because the second house is the house of finances. If Venus is strongly placed here, then a relationship will help us to improve our finances. If Venus is afflicted here, then our relationship is really draining our finances a lot. If Venus is in the second house, we also like fine foods, we like fine dining. And the food can play an important role in our relationship. Venus is connected to the sour taste. Maybe we have a liking for sour foods. Sour foods are those foods that really give flavor to things. Just imagine pasta. Pasta by itself, it is so plain. Grains are sweet, it has salt, but it is not satisfying unless there's a nice tomato soup, which is that sour taste. So if Venus is in the second house, we like fine foods, we might have an attraction to the sour taste. And our partner might come from somewhere close by. Particularly if it is in a fixed sign in the second house, very likely our partner comes from our close community. If Venus is in the third house, then communication becomes very important in relationships. Hobbies become very important in relationships. It is very, very helpful if we share some of our hobbies with our partner, if we share some of our creative pursuits with our partner. We be a very soft communicator with Venus in the third house. It is a beautiful placement. The third house is also called Mithuna Bhava, the house of copulation, the house of union. Therefore, Venus in the third house from the ascendant can increase our desire, it can increase our passion. So we want to be a little bit careful with this placement here. If Venus is placed in the fourth house, that is excellent. Venus is Digbala in the fourth house. She gains directional strength because Venus is placed in the home, in the heart. We like benefics in the fourth house, particularly Venus. So Venus is there, a person has, it's a bit like Venus in Cancer. It's like this Annapurna yoga, this Annapurna combination. A person also loves to nourish, loves to nurture others. They might have a very beautiful home. They like to bring their partner to their home. They get a lot of pleasure and happiness from living together and having a nice house and sharing the house with their partner, with their guests. We will be attracted to partners who can help us facilitate this process. Partners who can keep the home clean, partners who can add beautiful items to the house, etc. Venus in the fourth house is an excellent placement for domestic happiness. We might buy a home after meeting our partner. Maybe after buying the home, we meet the partner. There is this special connection between our spouse and our home. Venus placed in the fifth house is also an excellent placement. The fifth house is a trine, and that ensures good fortune in relationships. The fifth house also has a connection to what we are affectionate to. It has a connection to dating culture. Therefore, Venus is in the fifth house, a person they love to date. You tell me if that is good or bad. They love to go for dates. They have a lot of affection for their partner, which does ensure longevity of a relationship. A person also will be more attracted to partners who stimulate their intelligence. The fifth house is the place of our intelligence. It is how we think. It is the decisions we make. So they are more likely to discuss their choices with their partner. Their partner will have a big impact on how they are making decisions in this life. They might have shared investments with their partner. That is Venus in the fifth house. It is a beautiful combination for love marriage, love relationships. So Venus in the fifth house, it is our choice that makes us choose a person. We don't care what other people are saying. What is the ninth house saying? What is the teacher saying? The guru saying? We don't care. Venus in the fifth house. Unless there's more planets in the ninth, right? That can change the equation. Venus in the sixth house is a more challenging placement. Venus does not like the sixth house. It is the first Dushtana on our list. Venus is Marna Karakasana in the 6th house. She feels like she's dying. The 6th house, it does carry some of the energies of Virgo. And therefore Venus in the 6th house, she feels burdened. She's not able to express freely her desire for romance and for love. We are attracted to an enemy. Our partner becomes an enemy. There's legal battles, there's fight. 6th house, the house of disease, there's disease creeping into the relationship. If Venus is in the 6th house, then we'll have to do some inner work, because this Venus in the 6th house is an indication that we carry a negative samskara of a woman. In our previous life, we have upset a lady and she has left this impression in our mind, which now makes it harder for us to find love and to attract love. Sometimes I've seen it is hard for the person themselves to give love to others, and it might be a little less spontaneous in relationships. Or other times it is the people they are attracted to who are just not able to reciprocate their love. And Venus in the 6th house is particularly difficult for men, because here it is not just Venus as a significator for dating, but it's also Venus as a significator for our wives. If Venus is placed in the 7th house of relationships, this is a very lucky combination. Venus in the 7th house indicates that we are attracted to partners who embody Venus, who are beautiful, who have a refined sense of aesthetics, who have the knowledge in pleasing our sense. If Venus is placed in the 7th house, this is another very excellent combination. Venus in the 7th house indicates that we are attracted to partners who embody the good qualities of Venus, who are beautiful, who have a good sense of aesthetics, who are nourishing, and who could be great speakers as well. The problem with Venus is in the 7th house is sometimes Venus here can give too much passion, because Venus is a Rajasic planet. Venus embodies Rajaguna, the mode of passion. So therefore, having this planet of passion in the house of other people, it can sometimes give too many passionate encounters. And a lesson we have to learn here, similar to Venus in the ascendant, is self-restraint. If Venus is in the 7th house, other people enjoy dealing with us, because the 7th house also tells us how we deal with other people. What is their experience of us? And if Venus is there, well, they experience us as someone who can give them pleasure and who can give them joy. Venus in the 7th house also manifests similar to Venus in Libra. So Venus is in the 7th house. We do understand that relationships are contractual, and we will try very hard to go out of our way to satisfy our partner and to please our partner. We will ensure that other people in our life are satisfied. Therefore, Venus in the 7th house can make a person very giving. If Venus is placed in the 8th house, that is another little bit more challenging combination, because the 8th house, it is the house of death. It is the house of transformation. It is the 12th house from the 9th. It's the loss of good fortune. It's the loss of dharma. So Venus is in Scorpio. Often people will have other ideas about the relationship. They will have different ideas. What it means to be a partner, what it means to love. They will often be attracted to different practices. Ideally, if Venus is in the 8th house, if we can share a spiritual path with our partner, if we can both do research together and work in a lab, or have a hobby where we're researching something, that would be really favorable. If Venus is in the 8th house, also therapy and psychological work can greatly help if there's any problem in the relationship. Venus in the 8th house will make us attracted to partners who are mysterious, who are difficult to understand, who are intense. Venus in the 8th house also can create a lot of passion and can give luck in relationships later in life. Things in the 8th house, they do take time to mature. They do take their time. If Venus is in the 9th house, we love studying. We have a good time in our higher education. We might meet our partner during our higher education. We might fall in love with our teachers, with our teachers. Venus in the 9th house will also make us attracted to partners who are professionals, who can give good advice. Often teacher figures can have an important impact on our choice of our partner. In other cultures, Venus in the 9th house can be a key indicator for an arranged marriage or marriage that was taken on by recommendation. So if Venus is in the 9th house, then maybe our father can help us with the relationship. If Venus is in the 4th house, maybe it is mother who will recommend the partner. I mean, as a 9th house, maybe it is the guru or another teacher figure. That is very likely. Venus in the 10th house. First of all, it's the Raja Yoga. It's a very powerful combination. It can give great rise in our career because we love our career and we have a lot of pleasure in our career. And we're meeting people like Venus who are kind, who are helping us. Venus in the 10th house, we might meet our partner at work. We might fall in love at work. We want to be careful. Venus in the 10th house. We also think that actions are really important. It's not just what we talk, but it's what we do for our partner. Venus does very well in the 10th house. And Venus in the 11th house, it is we fall in love with our friends or our partners. They're like a friend. Maybe it is our partner who will recommend us to meet somebody. Venus in the 11th house will give us beautiful, beautiful friends, beautiful encounters through our friendships. It might give a little bit unconventional outlook on relationships, an unconventional partner. And if Venus is in the 12th house, then the 12th house, among places, it is connected to the bedroom. So actually Venus does very well in the 12th house. The 12th house connected to what we spend on. So if Venus is placed in the 12th house, we like to spend on good things, on nice articles. We might meet our partner by traveling, by visiting a retreat overseas. If you're running a Venus time period and your Venus in the 12th house and you go traveling at that time and you open your horoscope and you read your astrocartography and you look at the Venus line and you travel to that place and you're during the Naisargika Dasha of Venus, which is age 12 to 32, let's say you're at least 25, guaranteed you're going to fall in love while you're traveling and you're going to meet someone. Venus in the 12th house is also very common to fall in love with partners who are far away, so it's a common placement for long-distance relationship. Venus in the 12th house can give marriage at the age 26. And Venus in the 12th house also will make a person really want to give love and share love with others. It is a beautiful placement. Of all the planets in the 12th house, Venus is the best here. Now we want to consider the sign placement of Venus, we want to consider the house placement of Venus, and we want to interpret them together in the horoscope. Only then our prediction will really pierce the heart, like the arrow of a hunter. General predictions, they will always work for some and not for others, but we will have to look at everything together. And to complete this picture, we have to look at the sign of Venus, we'll have to look at the house placement of Venus, and we also have to consider all the planets that are conjoining Venus, all the planets that have their eyes on Venus. We want Venus to be associated with benefics. We want benefic planets to have their eyes on Venus and aspect or even bless Venus. Malefic planets of Venus can block relationships. We touched about that in our first step of the series. If Venus is conjoined with the moon, this is an excellent placement for Venus, and maybe not the best placement for the moon. If Venus is with the moon, then we can nourish other people in relationships. Whatever I've told you before about Venus in Cancer, multiplied by 10, and you have Venus conjoined the moon. If Venus is with the moon, we might meet our partner near bodies of water. Maybe at the beach, next to the ocean, near the river, maybe at the laundry place. If Venus is with the moon, we might meet our partner while dining. The water element will become so important in relationships. Whenever there is any problem, then yes, we can go near water, go to the sauna with our partner. It will solve a lot of the problems. If Venus is conjoined with the moon, I really hope that your partner will have significant placements, maybe their own moon, maybe their Venus, in trines from this placement. If we have Venus and the moon conjoined, we want our partner to have significant placements in trine. That will really help. If Venus conjoins with the moon, the line between our mind and our love, it becomes very fine. It becomes nearly invisible. If Venus conjoins the moon, the line between our mind and our passionate desires becomes very thin. And therefore, a person can easily lose themselves in romance. So here, we need Jupiter to be strong, to guide a person towards the right path. Otherwise, Venus and Moon can easily take a person astray. Venus is the Asura guru, the Moon is the queen, and Venus is the favorite counselor of the Moon. She'll be whispering in the ear all the time, take this, you can enjoy, take that, one more, here's an opportunity. So we want to be careful with this combination. Besides this, it is very wonderful. It makes a person so graceful. If you have friends with Venus and their Moon conjoined, or your partner, you can see they just give and give and give. If this combination is in Kendra, they could be a very good cook as well. They'd be wonderful. If Venus conjoins Mercury, then a person will be a very good sweet talker. They will be a really fine communicator. They can be a very good speaker too. Venus with Mercury can give a great sense of humor in relationships. Laughter will become very important in their expression for relationships. They will like partners who are like Mercury. Just take any planet conjoined Venus. We'll be attracted to that type of a person. We need that type of a partner. And remember, planets overpower signs. They alter what is indicated in the sign. So that is Venus with Mercury. There's a lot of playfulness in relationships. Our partner, he's not just a partner, but he's like our buddy. He's our best friend. That is Venus with Mercury. It's a beautiful combination. It's a great blessing. Whichever house Venus and Mercury have conjoined in together, that area of life will be blessed. And that area of life can help us a lot in our relationships. Whenever there's a problem, we can just go to that house. It will help. If Venus conjoins with Jupiter, this is the most excellent placement. Venus with Jupiter ensures that there's so much prosperity, particularly after our marriage. Particularly after marriage, like the proper ceremony, the marriage yagya, the vivaha yagya, there will be great prosperity, because Venus is comforts in life, Jupiter is marriage. So after our marriage, we gain all the comforts in life. We gain great luxury. We get the blessings of the goddess of fortune. Venus and Jupiter is an excellent combination. It also can make a great orator. Mercury and Jupiter, both orators. Mercury, he's a writer as well. So Mercury is an actor as well. He communicates in many ways. It is just about communication in general, which can have many forms, sometimes even without words. Mercury loves to speak without words. While Jupiter, he is the speaker who can make space. He's a communicator who knows how to make space. Sound and space have this connection. So Venus and Jupiter, this person can speak and make space for everyone. So that is a very beautiful combination. Venus and Jupiter, they often have luck in relationships earlier. Remember, Jupiter matures at 16, so Venus and Jupiter conjoined, relationships can come much earlier. Yeah, that is Venus with our benefic planets. Now, if Venus is with malefics, if Venus is with the Sun, if Venus is combust, then we will internalize the qualities of Venus. If we might have difficulty finding satisfaction from our partners. There might always be things coming in between, maybe work, the kids, other commitments. Venus with the Sun, we strongly embody Venus, we strongly embody these qualities. We need partners who are powerful, we need partners who are leaders, we need partners who are strong, partners who can set a good example. We might be overburdened by our partners, or we overburden in relationships. There's this problem of the power play. Ideally, we would like both Venus and the Sun to be placed with strength. If Venus is with Saturn, then the person will be attracted to older partners. They'll be attracted to partners who behave like an older person, who are mature, who are responsible. Or lack in relationships might come a bit later. There will be a feeling of limitations in relationships because Saturn, he constricts. So it is important that we can do some inner work in this regard, and we can love ourselves. If Venus is with Saturn, we might not love ourselves enough, and therefore it's hard to show love to others, particularly for women. This is often connected to the relationship with father. If you're born during the night, then Venus is the stira karaka for our father. So if you have a woman and she was born at night and Venus is with Saturn, then this indicates that she was not shown enough love by her father. And therefore she's not loving herself enough, and therefore in relationships she's feeling shortchanged, and she finds it hard to receive the love from the other person and to give it in return. If Venus is with Saturn, often particularly the first relationship, particularly before age 32, it can leave a scar. So we want to be very careful. If we have Venus or Saturn and we did not have any relationships in our life, we want to be very mindful of our choice. Ideally, we want to consult with an astrologer before we fall in love, before the story unfolds, to help guide us. It is very important. The same way like the moon tells us about our relationship with mother in the first year of life, which determines how we relate to others for most of the rest of our life. Also, the position of Venus particularly will tell us about the first relationship, which then sets the psychological foundation for a major portion of our life. If Venus is with Rahu, there's excessive sexuality, there's addiction, there can be vice in relationships. A person can be attracted to low-class sexual encounters, and we really want to control the mind. Rahu always gives too much. He gives obsession and impulsiveness. So Venus with Rahu, it is a tricky combination. If a man has Venus and Rahu conjoined, he'd be attracted to women who have really dark and magnetic energy, who can just allure a person like a snake. Rahu has a snake-like energy. If a woman has Venus and Rahu conjoined, she is that snake-like lady who has extreme charisma and sexual charm, and who loves to control people, control men, and wrap them around her finger. She'd be so expert with that. So if you are a woman and you're listening to this and your Venus Rahu conjoined, please be aware of your mystic power. And be mindful of this. Don't harm others, don't harm yourself. Meditation and breath work becomes extremely important to balance this impulsiveness of Rahu. If Venus is with Ketu, there's certain detachment of relationships. There can be a feeling of alienation and love, because Ketu is the monk. Venus is the beautiful woman. You put the monk and a beautiful woman together, the monk, he's alienated. What is this? There's so many stories in the Vedas and the Puranas about this. Beautiful women coming to the cave of a monk. And sometimes a monk, he would lose himself. Ketu is a fiery planet, and then you have water, Venus, you pour water on fire, it goes off. So also Venus with Ketu can sometimes disturb our vows of celibacy. Venus with Mars as well. Mars by himself, he's a celibate warrior, but then he comes in touch with Venus, and yeah, the fire of celibacy, the fire gets turned off. So Venus with Ketu, spirituality plays a very important element in relationships. We might be attracted to a partner who is a spiritualist. We want to have that shared theme. Maybe you're musicians, maybe it is the shared theme of inspiration, the subtle world. Maybe the partner is a nerd. Ketu is connected to elephants. Elephants are connected to transportation. So also could mean that you're attracted to persons who are in the transport industry, like who are train drivers or Uber drivers. Venus with Ketu, you will see. And last we have Venus with Mars. Venus with Mars as well. It just gives excessive passion. There's so much we could say about Venus and Mars, but that is a whole class in itself. Venus and Mars, we just want to find a way to curb this enemy of lust, this enemy of passion. But in general, if you're helping your friends with relationships, you would see Venus and Mars usually doesn't break relationships. The only reason why Venus and Mars can break a relationship because there's too much passion, too much desire. You don't want Venus to be associated with more than one malefic. If Venus is associated with more than one malefic, either by conjunction or by aspect, then Venus carries a shapa, carries a curse. If there's any other benefic planet with Venus, that planet can help, or if there are benefic planets aspecting. Too many malefic planets will give us malefic experiences in a relationship, harsh. The word for malefic is krura, harsh. It will give us harsh experiences in relationships. We can also learn about avastas. Avastas are the moods of the planet. So if planets are with multiple malefic planets, or if they're an enemy sign or debilitated, they have moods like being sad, being burdened, being angry, being hungry, being thirsty, being disturbed. None of them sound nice. So it really, one of these feelings or all of them, if Venus is associated with multiple malefics. What to do? If you're this person and you're reading your chart and Venus has an excessive amount of papa karma, it just means that in your previous life, you have upset a woman, you have upset Lakshmi Devi, you have upset the goddess of fortune. And therefore in this life, there's a lot of work that you have to do in relationships. We can remedy planets by chanting the mantras associated with deities with them, working with the deities, working with the goddess of fortune, working with Lakshmi, by giving donations to women, paying back the debt that we have to these planets, rendering service, helping them without any desire for return. All of these things will help to improve our Venus situation, giving Venus to ourselves, being kind to ourselves. All of that can help gradually to improve the position of Venus. Let's also explore briefly the position of Jupiter. Jupiter is the main indicator for marriage. Let's explore also the position of Jupiter. Jupiter is the main indicator for marriage. And let's spend one or two more words on the moon. To ensure lasting satisfaction and good luck in relationships, we would prefer Jupiter to be placed in Kendra or Kona, or the 2nd and even the 11th house. And we prefer Jupiter to be placed at least in the sign of a friend and primarily associated with benefics. This indicates good luck and fortune in relationships. If Jupiter associates with too many malefic planets, they indicate a feeling of burden, particularly once the relationship becomes more serious, particularly also after the birth of children. If Jupiter is associated with all malefic planets, a person does not even usually want children. So that is an important factor that we have to consider. If Jupiter is in his own sign, a person will become very righteous. The same if Jupiter is exalted. If Jupiter is in Capricorn, a person can become a little bit more self-righteous, and that can also create problems with relationships. The planets that associate with Jupiter will tell us about our ideas and concepts within marriage, moving out of the dating realm and into the major portion of the rest of our life. That is all Jupiter. Many times people say, oh, she changed after marriage. Oh, he was different before he got married. And that is because of the difference between Venus and Jupiter in a horoscope. If Venus and Jupiter are conjoined, it will not be felt so much. But if they are placed differently and in very different signs, associated with very different planets, different elements, different gunas, yes, there will be such a big gap between the two. If Jupiter is with the Sun, then a person will take marriage very seriously. A person will take relationships very seriously. A person will identify with their children. Jupiter and the Sun conjoined in the horoscope of a man is such a beautiful combination. His children will teach him so much, and he will lead his children in such a wonderful way. If Jupiter and the Sun conjoined in the horoscope of a woman, that is also wonderful. She will identify with the relationship that is her soul, it is her life, it is her path of self-realization. And the Sun and Jupiter also means she will get a partner who's a leader, who's strong. Jupiter with the Moon, it's also a wonderful combination. These two beautiful benefics together, Jupiter with the Moon, not only will ensure that a person has a very positive outlook on life. Usually with Jupiter and the Moon, a person believes in divinity. Jupiter with the Moon gives a more theistic worldview, because the Moon is family and Jupiter is our worldview. Jupiter and the Moon means the whole world is our family. We are the mother of everyone, a bit like that. So Jupiter and the Moon, it's a beautiful combination psychologically, ensuring that we have a good outlook on life, a secure and safe attachment style. But Jupiter with the Moon also in a relationship, it ensures that we are very emotionally invested in our marriage. You know, sometimes people, they are not so invested in their marriage. Right, they have other friends, other hobbies, and it's just like a thing that goes on. That's more like Jupiter and Saturn. But Jupiter and the Moon is different. We are emotionally invested in our children, in the relationship. Then we have Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter and Mars by themselves is also an excellent combination, and not only makes a fiery teacher, but Jupiter with Mars also means that there's this fire in our relationship, like the catalyst is boiling, it's cooking, we're cooking in our relationship, like we're trying to transform our marriage. We'll have a lot of big, highly transformative component. Very beautiful combination, Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter and Mars are friends as well, so they do quite well when they're together. If Jupiter and Mars are placed in the second house of finances, our marriage is going to significantly improve our bank account, and it's going to cause us an immense fortune. If Jupiter and Mercury are together, another excellent combination is formed. Jupiter is such a beautiful planet. He goes so well with so many others. Jupiter and Mercury means there's a lot of learning in our marriage, a lot of new skills that we're gaining after we fall in love, after we come together. Maybe one of the partners will continue their education, learn new skills. A lot of learning will come to you if you have Jupiter and Mercury conjoined after marriage. If Jupiter and Venus conjoined, we spoke about that previously. If Jupiter and Saturn conjoin, it is a bit more challenging placement. If Jupiter and Saturn conjoin, then a person will take the relationship serious. There's a lot of commitment, routine, and discipline. However, sometimes if Jupiter and Saturn conjoin, it is this very routine and structure that is burdening the relationship, because Saturn is a burden that I carry. It's a hard work. My marriage is a hard work. Yeah. Besides that, it's a beautiful combination for our psychology. Jupiter and Saturn are together in the ascendant. It is so wonderful. And then we have Jupiter, Rahu, Jupiter, Ketu. So Jupiter and Rahu, interesting. Jupiter and Rahu, interesting. First of all, if Jupiter and Rahu conjoin, we might break the family lineage, the family tradition. We might assume a very different worldview from our ancestors, from our forefathers, from our immediate family. Because Rahu and Jupiter, they're bitter enemies. And we'll have a very unusual understanding of relationships. We will defy the status quo. We're not into stereotypes. And Jupiter and Ketu can be beautiful, but we will like children in the relationship. Because Ketu, he likes lineage. He likes the passing on of knowledge. And therefore, he also likes children. So if Jupiter and Ketu join, children can be very beneficial for the relationship. Jupiter and Ketu together often give a shared theme of maybe being together initiated into spiritual lineage. That would be really wonderful. Jupiter and Ketu create Parampara Yoga, which is the lineage combination. The Moon tells us about our attachment style. We discussed some important combinations in our previous video. The Moon tells us how we attach to others. So you will rarely find two people with their Moon and Saturn conjoined who are dating each other, because avoidant people don't date each other. If we have a lot of malefics on our Moon, then it is better if our partner has benefic connections. Because if we both have malefic associations, then we will tend to push each other away. And at least one partner should have strong benefics to uphold the relationship. In the same way, if we have anxious avoidant or anxious avoidant attachment style, if we don't have a secure attachment style, it really helps us to have a secure partner who can role model what it means to be secure. That will become very, very important for the relationship. So in astrological language, if your moon has the association of many malefics, try to find a partner whose moon is very benefic, because he will be able to heal you. He will be able to give you a good role model. If you're already in a relationship and both moons are malefic, then, my friend, someone has to jump into the cold water. Someone has to try to break the cycle. And whenever something happens, he has to take 2 breaths and think twice. What would a person do who has their moon in Jupiter? What would a person do who has a healthy attachment style? How would they think? What would they do? Ideally, if there's any one planet aspecting the moon, any one benefic, then we would want to strengthen that planet. If there's one benefic in Kendra or Kona, also we can strengthen these planets. They can help. I hope this was helpful to you. A lot of things I've shared today, they're common knowledge, no secrets. Not many secrets shared today. But in our next step, let me tell you some secrets about relationships, about synastry, about compatibility, things that are hidden on the horoscope and that give us a deep understanding of our relationship patterns. Namaskar. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and night. And if I've uploaded it already, check out the next step here.